And I think most people don't even understand what the hell I'm talking about. But we have this like setup, and I'll try to be like really clear. We have this setup where things have become very, very scarce, right? At least in terms of yield. Um, we
Circulating.
know we know that this is a living, breathing system. Like all of us could go away for a couple days, and the bots will keep trading,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So we know that's going on. We know that 50% of all the transactions are taking place. Yes, these are big dollars, but 50% of all the transactions are less than a penny. All right. So we have this huge, thriving, like colony ecosystem that's going right. And then you have these. I don't, listen. I'm a little put off by some of the stuff that's going on, right? Because I like where the hell did pumped out tires come from, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
pumped out tires dropped. Every one of those tokens that graduates is another sum of sunk liquidity that can never be removed. So liquidity's grown pretty rapidly with Pulse. Sure, on an individual basis, it might be hard to tap that, but it's a TVL, additional TVL, and then like Richard just like installed this super fucking highway. Sorry for the, but he just installed this super highway with these pump tire tokens that he put in, which he owns. Like I assume, right? I guess I shouldn't say it's Richard, right? Whoever did those tokens, they installed this super highway, and when they installed the super highway, the bots. I mean, this was not normal trading, right? The bots went crazy, and they were running like for hours at a time, and I couldn't do a transaction for my life without paying $20, right? So it shut everybody out, including the other R bots, and this super highway was in place with an entity that probably owns both sides of all the tokens and can move as much as they want, right? With little ramification, and yeah, he had days like this, on the 10th. And now that continues. So you can turn that super highway on. Now the rest of us get to watch all the traffic go by, right? While this is happening, and then when the traffic stops, we can go get back on the road. But it's pretty interesting what's happening. It is like magic for sure, right?
Right, but I mean, like, put yourselves in the shoes of a multimillionaire. If I was going to move a bunch of money into an ecosystem, I would try to close all the doors and avoid being exit liquidity as much as possible. I would want as much control over the LP and the inlets and outlets of my balloon, right?
Yeah.
So I don't, it's not that I guess I'm saying I totally respect and understand the way that money was moved in with pumped out tires.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, dude. On top of that, you wouldn't see the APRs to be looking at it the way I look at it, but in my tool set that I'm looking at, we're seeing pools with like for days, 200% APR, thousands of percent APR. Who was earning those rewards? Whoever had those tokens. Who had those tokens? Don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Don't know.
Guess.
Yeah.
So this is one of the, if you guys hunger and thirst for data, Crispy Man will drown your ass. He will give you so much data, your head is just swimming in stuff. Like this is his site, hexfire.io. And he has some charts and stuff on here that is just mind melting. Like I can touch the surface of some of these, but I kind of have to have someone like Crispy Man hold my hand, and it like a little kid at the zoo. I don't want to get lost, and so like take us through what do you think are some of the most interesting things on here with the graphs and charts?
Well, yeah, at the surface level, you didn't have to pull this up, but thank you.
I definitely do.
You can go hit the charts.
Okay.
I'll just show you something that I think was really interesting about this. Give this a moment to load because it's going to bring some data down. There are a couple big things. I haven't perused all these since the changes have happened, but if we go to let's see, it's loading in the background in the moment. So, but I want to see what our adoption rate has been. That'd be like a good one to look at. So it's X supply. Go to staker adoption. Let's check this out. You see some pretty interesting information with this right off the top. Look at that increase in stakers, man.
Wow.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
So this is like new stakers, like people that haven't, or
Then-
addresses that haven't staked till right there, and then it just hits this curb.
Yeah. I mean, it hit the wall, right? Went straight up vertical. Those are the OA addresses, right?
Right.
Primarily.
Yep.
I mean, there were a lot of follow-on, but I was like, oh my God, look at that. If you hit the ETH button, it'll show you the ETH numbers. They're going to look real similar. Or
Oh
maybe
yeah,
not.
you got
But,
that pump right
Well,
there.
I might be having a problem or a delay with it. Go back over to Pulse. That one's clear. But
Okay.
I mean, you can see it. But the two of them should be looking pretty similar. So
Yeah.
we have that. And then I don't think I have a holder chart on this one. If you go up to the top a little bit.
What do you even call that? That's not a hockey stick. That's like a garden hoe.
Yeah, dude.
That's like a Gandalf staff is what I would call that.
Yeah.
That's insane. Sorry, what did you want me to click on?
Go to holders. You're going to see a corresponding drop.
Whoa.
Not as much, but you see a drop. So that Hex came out of a small number of wallets and got staked into a large number of wallets in this case.
Oh, so when you stake, this is like if I had 100,000 Hex and I made a stake, it would take me off of this list because I wouldn't be holding Hex anymore. I'd be holding T-shares.
Yeah, if you evacuated all the Hex, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That gives you kind of an idea there. If you go up to, let's do another chart that's up here.
Okay.
There's another one up there that might be nice to look at. Let's see what this looks like. Do the APY rate.
Okay. What the,
just
this
fell off.
Looks, you know the memes where the person's candle like burns through their computer desk down into the floor.
Yeah.
That's what this looks like. Is that meme?
Mm-hmm. Now this particular chart, it bottoms out there at 20% because or whatever number that is, for whatever reason, I didn't think we'd ever go that low again. So I got to change this one, but we're down at average APY very low right now. Right.
Okay.
Because everything got pretty much cut by 2/3, right? Is what we witnessed, which means that at any time it can go back up 1/3 or double.
Yeah.
If those 30-day stakes stuff. So there's been a lot of activity going on with this stuff. If you go to another chart towards the top, another one might be nice. Is look at total value locked. I haven't looked at that one. I bet you TVL went through the roof. Yeah, it's TVL. It just went right up there too.
Throw some bananas in chat if you guys think this information is bananas. If you think these charts are just bananas, throw some bananas in the chat.
Wow, the TVL, you're right. I didn't think about that as far as the total value locked on chain.
It just spiked. Wow. And so this right here, this is 2022. This is when we hit 40-50 cent Hex right here, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow, it's recovered from 3 years ago. It hit the same levels it was hitting 3 years ago.
Yeah. And just went off the chart in terms of the amount of Hex that's out there staked. It's all pretty cool, man. I mean, listen, it's I kind of jokingly said this, but it's kind of like Hex has been rigged for battle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. Meaning there's nothing anybody can possibly do, probably anyways, except for the OA.
Yeah,
to mess with it.
Once you truly get a hold of 90% of anything, whether it be a crypto or a stock, it doesn't take a lot of pressure. Like you can put a finger on the scale and tip it. You know what I'm saying? Like Jeff Bezos and Amazon, or Musk and Tesla. Like these guys know what they have, and they hold it pretty dear and close. And they most of the other big holders are friends and board member. Those people that they're like a circle of trust almost usually. And yeah, this banana. You know how in Jaws they say we're going to need a bigger boat. I in the back of my head I just heard we're going to need a bigger chart. Like, So it's just shooting off the chart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There's just all sorts of things happening now. And like, I reacted pretty emotionally to the whole staking thing.
Right.
And I took the anti position, right? Like, what the
Yep.
what the hell? Because listen, we've been talking to people for a long time about
38% average
38%
return APY
rewards
Sure.
and all that stuff, and so this was a shock to me, just like anybody else, because I didn't expect it to come. But essentially, what we did is we changed it up, which I think is there's some good stuff in here, right? Like, sure, a Quattro Cinco has just been cut by 2/3 in terms of reward. Like, it was they were running like 21% on Pulse Chain, and now they start out at 7%. So some people have made the point, hey, listen, TradFi can accept that. They can't accept the idea that it's going to be 20% in average, 40%,
See,
and and with price appreciation, it almost doesn't matter, right? And it's certainly for those of us who are in, like, so not everybody's into Hex, but if you're into Hex and you have a staking ladder, you're in good shape, man. I mean, like, this is like phenomenal opportunity. Now the use case going forward is a little different for new people, and how they're going to do it. And so what's happening is this initial shock, people initially and for some period of time are going to stop staking. I have stopped staking.
Well, right? but here's the deal. Like, when Hex started 5 years ago, we had was native stakes for, I want to say 2 years, maybe 3, before Hedron came out. Because Hedron made HSIs, and now you could actually have tradable, movable T-shares, right? Like actually sellable, transportable T-shares is what I'm trying to say. And now with Actuator and the other one, what's the other one? Not just the perpetuals and Maximus DAO, but there's another one that is basically, it's liquid T-shares, and now, like, you can literally just buy HTT tokens that are liquid T-shares in a sense.
True.
Oh, the other one. Sorry, the other one I was thinking of was pools.com. The Magic Carpet Ride guys, how they're doing their monster pools.
Yeah, Steakhouse. Yeah.
Steakhouse. Yeah, those guys have really changed the game with, you can use the the bigger pays better, and longer pays better bonus with those guys.
Yep. Yeah, and I see Armstrong was asking in the chat. Yeah.
Shoot, I have a chat. I wish I could hand chat over to you guys when I share my screen, so you guys could keep me. Thank you so much for pointing that out.
No, it's okay. But he was just asking about the HSIs. Yes, their APY has dropped off as well, for the new HSIs and existing ones. So those of us who had stakes in place, right? You might have been earning, on average like 20, 30, 40%. Some were doing high, right? Because if you look at it annualized all the way from Big Payday, you had a lot. Well, going forward, when you look at your dailies, yours also have dropped significantly, but you have an advantage because you have you have older T-shares that you got at a lower cost, right? But so going forward, it'll be like that. But if you have your hands on old HSIs, they're gold, man. I would not part with an HSI, because basically what you have is a lot of yield that has been built up over the last few years that will not be replicated if the OA persists, right?
That's a good point.
And that's a damn good question. That's a next level question. So thank you for asking that, Hex T. Armstrong.
Love it.
Wow. Yeah, interesting. And I think I might be one of the only people that was not shocked when it all got staked. I personally expected the OA or the bigger whales to give us 6 months or a year to get our stakes in order, especially after Big Payday. Because I saw the way that the OA stepped in during Big Payday and soaked up a lot of, like, saved us from other people dumping the Big Payday bonus with 1 and 2 day stakes. And so, like, I freaked the hell out. And, I got some texts back then. You could actually get texts from people in the community, and they're basically saying, "Oh,
You,
no, not
you
being
remember
selfish."
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not being selfish. He's protecting, and they actually sent me charts of what other people were trying to do to front run and game the system. And ever since I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I expected the 99% to be staked, because if you're the OA and you get a copy, or you get 50% of all the EES penalties and bonuses, then it's not that big a deal to lock everything up for Quattro Cinco, because you probably still have some of the other 10% of the supply on the market. And so, yeah, I expected him to do this years ago, personally, because he kept asking us things like, would you rather have a giant slice of a little pizza, or would you rather have a thin slice of a gigantic pizza?
Yeah,
And
he did. He asked all those types
he
of
would drop
questions.
hints like that all the time, and I'm like, this dude is gonna choke the scarcity out of this mother right here. Like, he's gonna squeeze it, and it took him 5 years to do it, but he's squeezing it. Somebody squeeze. I shouldn't say he is, but
Right.
somebody is squeezing it.
Yeah, he had also mentioned in one of his interviews one time that he thought that the APR was probably about 2 times too high. And so that kind of makes sense to me too, that this could go down. I think that the other thing people need to understand, and I'm doing some analysis tonight, is when I talk about being rigged for battle, I mean, whatever happens, right? Whether we see like huge increases in price or huge drops in price and people emergency end stake or whatever, his move essentially means this. The OA will receive 50% of any penalties, right, off the top,
Yeah.
and 2/3 of the penalties that would have gone to users.
Okay, so here's total hex and hex circulating supply by date. Were you hiding this one from us, Chris?
No.
That one is also dropping completely off the chart.
Yeah, they're all a function of each other for sure. Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff, huh?
It's insane. It's insane to see things like this. This stuff only happens in crypto. You don't. If you see this in the stock market or in another country's market, it means like someone's dying, someone's in serious trouble, But anyways, it just, yeah, wow. If you guys have not gone to hexfire.io and you're not following Crispy Man, I highly encourage you to do so and get in on some of these stats and play around and just check it out, because there's, like I said, there's so much information here, and it's easy to digest visually, where a lot of us are just trying to like look at Dex Screener, right, or Dex Tools, and we're just trying to read the liquidity and read the chart. But this like gives you a really good 1,000-foot view of some crazy stuff happening right now. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, thanks, Crispy Man. It really is. It gives you such a broader picture of the scope of what's going on, and yeah, it's a great site.
Well, hey, thanks, Compassion. I appreciate that. It is so creepy and crazy, the changes and stuff. I'm convinced that the move is to continue to keep my ladder up. So I did Quattro Cinco this week.
Okay.
And man, listen, there's a lot of things we're involved in outside of just Hex now, but nevertheless, it's my number one. And I'm just like, if this persists, this situation continues, right? I want to own as many units as I can in the future. And so I'm not talking about going all in Quattro Cinco. I'm saying I have a ladder, and my ladder goes out 15 years, and I'm gonna have Hex coming out 15 years, and I think that we're going to see a lot of fading of Hex over the next. We already seen it. We saw more of it And I think we could see even more for the next year or so until the market realizes that hex is $1.
Exactly.
And they
Exactly.
can
Yeah.
they can be earning like you wouldn't believe into the future.
Yeah, it I kind of liken it to, look at what happened with incentive token, and there's that talk within the no permissions community of like, well, what about the firewall and yada yada yada. Well, maybe in units he doesn't get as much, but what if there's such a squeeze where the incentive token pops from whatever it is, $3, $4
Oh,
up
goddamn.
into,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And it's the same thing with hex, where the dollar value goes up, but you're not getting as much yield, but you're getting maybe the same in dollar amount because the price has gone up so much. And like you said, pulse rate, where he's squeezing it, you know what I mean? Supply shock.
Mhm. I've been collecting that ink from launch, and now I can get no more unless I buy it. So if some sort of use case comes up where that thing moons, where are people going to get it?
Yep.
You're not going to get it from farm.
Crispy, can you explain this when we got the hex t-shirt rate speculative? So the red is what's happened. The blue is what is projected to happen based on stakes ending.
Yeah, the one thing I'd say right away is ignore the tail on that, because
Okay, so this whole part.
that has to do with how I calculated without including the OA.
Mhm.
And so it turns out weird at that very tail, because it never goes down. So I have to, I'm working on all these charts because my models broke. Because first, I never thought that I needed to handle 100 billion.
Yeah.
And if you multiply 100 billion by a million, which is how many hearts you have, I ended up breaking a whole bunch of things, right? So I have that. But that being said,
That being said, there is 10 years of projection here, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, and the share rate's going to go up and to the right as always. That flat spot out there represents the fact that because yields have dropped and it's projecting into the future, that at some point we just don't have a stake yet that'll make new highs yet, but we will in the future at some point. And then that flat spot will go away. But this is just a simple calculation of what the potential share rate will be. Now, if we were looking at this last week or whatever, it might have been 2 to 3 times higher, right? In that time frame. And so what's happened also is the t-shirt rate's still going to go up and to the right, but but initially it'll continue on a pretty quick rise. But then over time, it'll come down and it won't go up as fast, right? So we won't see, like I was thinking maybe in 15 years, we might see 1 million hex per t-shirt. That was a possibility in the old scenario. In the new scenario, not so much. Maybe we'll see 500 or 600, but it's all a function, when you start looking at all the prices and stuff. But here's another one that'll blow your mind. People today are now earning less, right, on their rewards. And so let's say this situation does persist for another year. The OA is doing monthly stakes. People will be getting progressively less ROI in hex, right? So they're getting less ROI in hex. But you know what? T-shirt rate doesn't care. You have 5 years of stakes that have been out since the beginning that are going to be setting higher and higher t-share rates. And so what that's going to mean is for the people who are ending stake, at first maybe they'd have to go out, they'd have to add 10% more hex to get the same amount, right? Of t-shares. But then a month later it's 20%, and 3 months later it's 40%. And so if you're not keeping your ladder up, you're going to have some real trouble holding on to your staking position. So again, a very strong bullish thing for the people already staked, for sure.
It's a great point. Yeah. It's putting people in a position where, like you said, he used to always brag about the average stake length, and obviously, like you said, for the true believers and the institutional type money that he might be looking to adopt, it really positions people to really do the 5 5 5 5s.
Yep.
You know what I mean? In order to really maximize the system for what it is. Like you said,
okay.
Like you said, Max, it's that squeeze.
Look at this. This is exactly what I've been trying to hint at for a couple weeks now. Look at the liquidity drop. Liquidity drop.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, I pulled all my stuff out of the farm. I'm not responsible for that drop. but I'm just saying, I pulled my stuff out of the farm because I thought that was the right thing to do. And I mean, and we know what do we know, right? We know that when there's less liquidity, it takes less economic energy.
Yeah, the lower the liquidity, the higher the volatility. Or the easier it is to create volatility.
Exactly. It's like Richard's not streaming, but he's speaking really loud on the blockchain, and the tea leaves are being written for everyone to kind of see and follow the crumbs, you guys. Hansel and Gretel, Richard's doing something for sure.
He's cooking.
He's cooking.
Look at the T-share pop.
I know.
Yeah. It was crazy, man.
If I didn't know any better, I'd think that whoever caused this was looking through your charts and they're like, watch this. Like, hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. Here we go. Boom.
Boom. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now you are both people that I think understand tokenomics, pumpamentals, game theory. Like Crispy, you're always sitting with Matty Allen on his game theory podcast and dropping alpha and kind of like wargaming scenarios in your mind. And hey, what if this happened? Then this might happen. I would like to ask both of you, because I believe both of you have some of these little things we call fuel cells.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you guys think about the addition, the hacking of the evil address to where we can scrape the lottery winnings of the evil address and roll them into the next jackpot? Like,
I mean,
what's your response or feelings towards this? I guess I would say.
Well, first I want to just say the creativity that you and the hexiest man in the world have done is quite amazing. I mean, I'm not really quite sure you could attribute anything that you guys have done to. Yeah, there's little bits and pieces that you guys have taken from stuff, but there's nothing really that's like, oh yeah, I recognize this project on Pulse Chain. It's over here. I mean, you guys are kind of one of one as far as what you've done, and I appreciate that. So I'm not really quite sure what's going to happen. Like you said, it's a weird anomaly that like so many events within the blockchain history have lined up with, your guys's, obviously party of the fuel cells being released. So that's crazy. I mean, like you said, whether it be the FUD events or what was that one thing that was on Ethereum that happened? Ulti, but yeah, I mean, I believe in it. Obviously, unboxing event, a little anti-gravity shirt there for you, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I got some anti-gravity stuff going on. And then
dude, that's the skeleton one that you made.
Yeah, you bet, man.
Dude, with the gun?
Yeah.
Like, jeez Louise.
Yeah.
The stuff that you guys are creating inside our community, I've never seen it before. Like, I'm not just saying that.
Everyone,
Hex brought a lot of engineering kind of minds, a lot of coders, a lot of deep thinkers to the forefront, like Crispy Man for sure, and hexfire.io. That's insane. Like the fact that somebody is so inspired by a project and a product and a community that they're literally making completely new websites and stuff like that. I think the part that sets us apart is that imaginative, like sci-fi, fantasy, hero's journey that taps into people's soul. And the art that we've seen in these contests is it's humbling to me.
I mean, Crispy's a testament of sacrificing time.
No, wait. Let me ask Chris. Is this you, Crispy?
What in the chat?
right here?
Oh no, that's not me.
This is someone named Chris, and I was like, is this Crispy Man? Is Crispy Man in his garage doing Bob Ross? Keeping it a secret. So this is a different Chris.
Yeah, okay.
That's it, definitely.
Okay, just checking. I had to check on that. Sorry to derail.
But they're engaging. I like those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me. I interrupted John because I really wanted to see the T-shirt. I apologize.
No.
Keep going.
No, I want to get back. I want to get back. Yeah, I want to get back to the question. Yeah, I want to get back to the question you have, and I really don't know. I mean, because you have a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts, and to also weave that in with the efforts of the community. I think that when Richard, was asked about, what is he like most happy about, and he talked about the community, and that's kind of a tribute to yourself, Crispy, and Max. You're always streaming and just giving of yourself and doing these things. I mean, we've all been to these, in life real meetups where people are putting on these meetups. They're putting in their time, whether it's Black Hexagon or SJ or whoever. People are just giving of themselves, and I'm not really quite sure what's going to happen with your project, but I believe in it, and I believe that you guys are going to continue to grind and fight, and the tokenomics are tremendously amazing, and it's new, and it's a new aspect on things, and I like it. So I'll tee that up to Crispy to take away.
Yeah, dude. Scrapey.
Scrapey.
I'm scraping.
I have a hard time not hitting this button every time I see it.
Yeah.
Like I said, you got to refresh to get it to 50. I don't know why it glitches back to 40, but yeah. I like that idea. Oh.
I like that idea a lot. I didn't win on the lottery. I wish I did this time. I didn't win this time. But what I like. So what's the right way to talk about this? Crypto's tough in the first place to get people involved and to do things, right? I mean, just kind of like a general thing. The bare bones people basically gambling to earn more value, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm looking for ways that crypto kind of jumps to real life. And I think this whole project, I've talked to you about this before, Max. I think this whole project is like that. Now, one of the ways you bring value to people is through community, the creation of community and being able to participate and stuff. And this is it. This is an example, right? I mean, so yes, I know some people only measure in dollars, right? But there's other stuff, right? The people that can come to these streams, the people that can read the book, the people that can, have fun with the evil address, right? Because it's all entertainment, and that has value that is not necessarily dollars, right?
Right. I mean, like something that me and Dawn talk about a lot is how do you help somebody go from a degenerate gambler to a delayed gratification investor, right? Mm-hmm. We both come from the world of recovery, him much more so than I. But like, how do you get people to do what's in their best interest, even though their brain is wired for dopamine?
Right.
And we thought if we can add enough excitement to our JPEGs and throw out a lottery to get the hook in the traders and gamblers, but then a lot of them do not know about the treasury. A lot of them don't understand the scarcity. And so over time, our analogy was like, if you go to a party where everyone's just doing drugs and the music's loud and you're just like having a great time, and then you kind of pass out at the party, and when you wake up and the lights come on, you're inside a rehab. And you're like, oh, damn it, I was tricked. But you were tricked into something good for you. It's like not everybody likes to exercise, but if you start a game of tag and make it fun and interesting for people, then they want to move around, right? Mm-hmm. So I that's kind of like our hook, or kind of our deeper desire is to show what I mean. Crypto's 99% degen gamblers, straight up. I mean. I take that back. The institutions and the banks came in and they took over Bitcoin, and in my opinion, they've taken over Ethereum too. But all the retailers are like chasing memes. They're jumping from one project to the next, to the next, to the next, and to catch someone's attention and keep their attention is very, very difficult. So yeah, we would love to help those guys understand some of the beauty that Richard Hart, the Hexagon community, has taught us about delayed gratification and self-care and planning for your future. We would love to pay that forward with our project.
I mean, isn't that the power of Hex too, though? Is like the staking is to like save you from yourself, you know, in so many respects, like, you know, that ability for you to know, like for the people who understand, well, you can't just early in stake, you know, like, you know, if you got a 15-year stake and you've only been in a year, and you're gonna pay the consequences of the truth engine, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people get upset that, you know, maybe they could have sold at 53 cents, but, you know, maybe there's something to be said with what Richard's doing, that it might just blow right past that 53, you know, this cycle, and you know what they should have, would have thought, you know, could have done. At the end of the day, you know, they thought, oh, I missed it because I had a stake, you know, and I didn't hit the, you know, cycle top, you know, and it's coming out in, you know, 2027. Well, you never know. 2027, you might be in a lot juicier place than that 53 cent top.
Yeah.
And
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you saved yourself from yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, listen, I could have sold Bitcoin at 20K. Would that have been a good idea?
No.
Yeah. Well, it might have been.
No, because you would have sold it for Tether back then, and Tether are a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
Right.
But it would have been too early, right, to do it.
It definitely would have been too early, yes.
You know, but that's the thing is, so new people, you know, I think there's, listen, they can do whatever they want to do, right? But when you come into crypto, you have to like push the I believe button a bunch of times, like, and just not sit there and argue about what's going to happen, because if you focus too much on like all the worst things that could happen, you'll just never make a move, right? That's, most people do that, right? They're like, it's too late. I mean, listen, I was around. I could have got Bitcoin for free. I could have got it for $1. Could have got it for $10. I was looking at it when it was $250. You know, when I bought Bitcoin, when it was $2,000, right?
Yeah.
That was my first one. And I didn't even buy it to hold it. I bought it because I wanted to buy something else. And back then you had to buy it first before you can buy something else, right? And so when you look, so a lot of the stuff you got to believe in is you got to believe in the idea that, first off, crypto has value. Why people give it value, move on, right? I mean, and not argue the point that it's not valuable. And then when you go a little bit further, you got to believe in the idea that, you know, crypto is going to store value over time. And this is where the long term comes in, the delayed gratification, time in the market, not time in the market. You pretty much have to believe that crypto is going to go up into the right over time with higher lows. If you can get past all that, then you can start talking about like real things you can do in crypto. But you have to believe that stuff. But if you don't believe that, then you shouldn't be in it in the first place, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion only.
Well, I mean, there's a value of being in crypto and having a front seat to history being made. Bleeding edge tech, bleeding edge experiments with, now that you have something like blockchain, which is much more verifiable and much more trustworthy than traditional systems, you get to watch people like just do crazy wild stuff, and it having like millions of dollars of effect, right? Like there's something just fascinating about crypto in that aspect. I think, not to mention, it's obviously, I believe it's the future of money, right? It's the future of a lot of things that require trust and ledgers, but we're not there yet. And so in the meantime, we just watch this Wild West, almost like colonizing new planets kind of energy.
Yeah.
But we get to be a part of it. I mean, I think that's where the conviction and, you know, the shining city on the hill and this digital nation that's being built, and that there's so many facets of these individuals within it that are playing their role and their part as far as helping build it. And that's the exciting part. You know what I mean? Not everyone comes to the table with that same energy and light, but that consistency of that light and kaleidoscope make a beautiful picture. And everyone has a different role. I mean, not everyone's gonna vibe and gyrate with Crispy Man, but the same goes for B Roots, right, on the other end of the spectrum.
100%, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like we're all kind of cohesively working together. And I believe that if we could all just kind of get on the same table and stop infighting and know that we're all rolling in the same direction, I mean, goodness gracious, this thing can just do amazing things, and we're all part of it, and that's the exciting part.
And someone else, like I just hit the button a second ago, and someone else has been hitting it like 2 or 3 times. So jackpot just passed.
Scrape, huh?
Jackpot,
straight, baby.
Jackpot. Jackpot.
Yeah. Well, like, hey, Rich was saying in the chat that you can't know what tokens will necessarily take off, and you're right about that. I mean, people fall into chats or not chats, but communities that they're interested in. And yeah, when Sol came out, I didn't go into Sol. I still not in Solana. I have a different choice. Doesn't mean that I may have a personal opinion, like I would rather not be there. But yeah, I mean, people can do that with crypto. I think the bigger picture with crypto is, will it continue to store value? And I think the answer now is yes.
Yeah.
Use
the Lindy effect if you want to apply that. Maybe it won't be Bitcoin long term. Don't know. But
will you do us a favor and describe what the Lindy effect is? It for people that haven't heard that before.
Yeah, I probably won't get the definition exactly right, but if something's existed a certain amount of time, you can generally expect that it'll exist into the future 2 times as long. So Bitcoin, roughly 15 years, probably be around at least another 30. And the longer it's around, the longer it'll move into the future. Same thing with Hex, right? I mean, Hex has been there for 5 years. We probably got a 15-year cycle that'll be there. And, the more years we put in with successful operation, the longer you can expect it to be around.
Yeah, that's a great explanation of what it is.
Yep. I like it.
Yeah, I'm pretty bullish about all this. I'm probably going to get myself in trouble with price and stuff because I started, people were asking the other day, they're like, well, what do you think the prices are going to be? Particularly for Hex and Pulse Chain and all that. And really at this point, I think it's up to us, right? The users, what it's going to be. It's going to be, when do you decide to sell? Because the setup is there for it, I don't want to be just focused on Hex. We're all, connected with all the different tokens, but the setup is such that as people don't sell, the price will keep going up. That's just how it'll be. And really, there's no number you can put on that, and that includes what might happen with the Solid X, the Dark. I mean, Solid X is so tight with ink, man. It's ridiculous, right? So,
yeah,
if ink does a, I don't know, what, $3 or whatever, it goes to $80, you're going to see slightly less increase in Solid X, but something pretty high, right? And obviously, Dark is connected to Solid X, so you'd see that go. And so on and so forth.
Yeah, and the thing with ink, whether you like it or not, folks, I mean, it's a pretty big lure to lure in the liquidity providers from people across chain. So I think there's a pretty good chance that someone might really want that price to go up at some point.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's
100%.
That's the carrot that gets people to come in here and participate. And if you don't got thick liquidity right now, there's the carrot has been removed as far as your rewards, but like that carrot will come back, and liquidity is king. So
yeah, 100% there. Well, you think about the ink, like just for me personally, like I want more ink now. I don't want less. I want,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I don't want to part with any of it. Because I don't know what the use case is going to be for it. And so people going to get pretty sticky in terms of that. I mean,
yeah, and I think that's probably the point too. And I mean, some of those features that we talked about, pre, sacrifice and all that kind of stuff, the idea of the DAO and so many of these features within PulseX, I don't think they've been released. I think that there is a pretty good chance that there's a lot of stuff that we don't see or know of that have probably already been developed and are just kind of waiting for the right time.
Yeah.
So,
well, just looking at just a real high level, there's probably more ink liquidity out there than this, but ink liquidity is still what, about 20 million,
yeah.
in ink out there. I mean, so it's not like it's super low liquidity. I mean, there's enough for there to be a market where whales can move in and out.
Yep.
Yeah, all of it combined right now, I believe, is like, well, actually, before our insane drop, we had close to $600,000 of liquidity in dark.
What insane drop? There is only Pulse. So
Yeah, sorry, in dollar terms. In dollar terms, we were pushing 600K, and now it's the balls of steel that the Pink Mist Whale has to not just pull the plug when he started, because a lot of people, when they see that in permanent loss, they panic, right? They're like, I put $200,000 of LP and now it's only worth 100. Like I saw it happen with Solid X and Dark. It was worth like 200K of liquidity, and then it was worth 100K, and then it was 70 grand. So I was just like, holy crap! Like, how far is this going to go? And I got shook. But I mean, there's still actually quite a bit of liquidity tied to Solid X. But the Pink Mist Whale watched 400K go down to like 230, 210, and didn't flinch, didn't move, didn't pull any liquidity, just rode the wave. In fact, he's about 7% up on Hex right now.
Nice.
There you go.
Trading against Hex, but oh my gosh, yeah,
I make this saying. I don't know if anybody else thinks of it this way, but we don't own dollar prices. So when you look, I know a lot of people will say this. They'll be like, "Well, I just lost money." Well, you didn't really lose any money, right? It's not unless you sold and you came in with $1 and you sold and got 50 cents. I guess you did, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking about the bigger picture, you really have to set those dollar prices aside. Otherwise, you drive yourself nuts, man.
Yeah, you have to focus, like you said, focus on your stack of Pulse and your stack of Hex.
Yeah, it's units again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that's a hard concept. Some people listen and be like, "That's kind of crap bullshit," but it's really not. It's really not. I mean, you have to accumulate units, and that's how in my opinion, my thoughts, how I work with things. That's how you have more power later, is by having those units.
I mean, one way to break that down and disseminate it would be like, well, what if you had 10 Bitcoin and your goal was to get a total of 12? I mean, just that, because that's the granddaddy. If we think about it in like Bitcoin terms, people be like, oh goodness, well, if I can get more units of Bitcoin, that's a home run.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes, a million hex here or a million hex there. I mean, you're winning. You just haven't seen it play out in real time yet, because yes, we're 5 years into it and it's flawless uptime, but wait till you get down the road in another 5 years. You're going to be happy you garnered, a million here and a million there. So.
Yeah, I'm tagging a whole bunch of people right now in this post, about the jackpot going up. And some of them I'm tagging in a celebratory fashion, right? Like some of these people are sitting on some insane amounts of fuel cells. Some of these people missed the last journey, so I'm kind of rubbing salt in a few of them. So it's a fun post. Look at that! Look at that graphic someone made where it's like sucking in the entire periodic table. That's just, I think it's brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's amazing what people create as far as coders, but then also the art. And I know you've seen it, Max, where, you get all kinds of people that have been contributing art. They're in their Telegram, they're doing things that go well beyond, like, you're not paying them any money. They're just vested interest in what you're doing and what you're building. And they just start creating this amazing art. And it kind of humbles you and blows you away what people do out of the goodness of their hearts and minds. And yeah, I know that they want price to go up. And so that there's like that hope for, something to become something beyond what it is. But it's amazing the creativity in this community. It really is.
We got a question from Rich Sainsbury. Is there a point in staking hex right now if you only have like $1,000 worth, or would yield farm be better?
Well, one, I don't know if you've purchased the hex yet or not. If it's just liquid, then that's a whole different story. But if you're looking at, no financial advice, but like I was talking to someone today that we're having come on the show, and I said, hey, hex is pretty low right now still. But like when I got in, right in January of 2021, can you remember, Crispy, what the price was? But it's not a lot, higher.
It was right around here. It was
that's
like
what I mean.
It was like 10,000 a million. Yeah.
I know it was lower, like a little lower, but still, like I said, hey, this is a great entry. If you think that someone isn't looking at the previous all-time high and thinking that they wouldn't like it to be more than that, it's kind of a no-brainer. In this cycle, if you're looking, you go talk to anyone and say, hey, would you like to get a 55x in your money? And then you stake it. So I guess to that point, the t-shirt rate's going up. I don't know. It's up to you. No financial advice, but I think there's someone who's cooking and he wants the price to go up.
Vibra wants me to sing.
I know. Sing away, buddy.
Believe in love after love after love. I'm so sorry that there are literally people just smashing their speakers in right now. OA stakes recently are preparing for the mass EESs. It is a genius way to distract people from the lower the supply and inflation, while saving the long-term stakers over the long run. I like that.
Yeah.
How much EHEX supply is available? Well, I'll tell you.
I don't know the exact numbers, but it's low.
Yeah.
It's low because you can't even use the circulating supply for that. You really got to look at the LP numbers and what's out there. It's less than, I think it's less than $1 billion on the market.
Yeah. Yeah, it says 200 billion total, but circulating hex, yeah. Yeah,
because circulating just means it's not staked. It's in somebody's wallet somewhere, including potentially the OA. But when you look at what's on the market, that's the key, right? Because there's a lot of hex that is in inactive addresses, like 30% or something of what might be in people's hands that people haven't even been back, right? So anyways, the thing is yeah, it's not a lot.
Yeah, Vibra says doesn't. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just continuing on. Go ahead.
Okay. Didn't this F over super stake? There's rolling stakes for yield chopped in half. In APY, it did, but in APR, I think that it's going to help everyone who holds hex. That's my guess. What do you guys think?
Agree.
Yeah. And the two of you, I'm gonna grab some dinner here. I got some thumbnails and all kinds of fun stuff that I gotta put together. You love the thumbnails.
Thumbnails never done.
Thumbnails and YouTube descriptions and more artwork to make after dinner. So I appreciate both of you guys and your contributions you guys give to the community, and Max, just continue grinding, man. Feel free to come on the open mic tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I'll try jumping on that tomorrow if we're not,
whatever you may be doing. Same goes for you, Crispy, but I'd rather have an exclusive with you. Not to say I don't want exclusive with you, Max.
No, you got plenty of Max time.
But I know, but you know what I mean. I'd like the opportunity to have an exclusive hour with you. We're excited about this week, and I know Vira. We got you coming on next week. We actually have Vira Finance's wife, She Slays Crypto, Lindsay, coming on. She gets some health and beauty stuff we're going to be talking about. It's a little outside of the crypto sphere, but we support everyone doing positive things in the community, and so that's something that we're excited about. So
awesome. And so besides the shit show, where else can people find your stuff and join your Telegram and stuff?
Oh yeah, goodness. I suppose I could give out the goodness, the good. I'll just throw it in chat here, I guess.
Throw it in chat, and also, where can people find your merch you're putting together?
Yeah, you bet. I'll throw that in chat also. Yeah, that's kind of been fun. The WW, I'll throw that in there. The CryptoX swag got all kinds of designers around the globe, adding myself included. But the one thing I've found is I've been hiring a lot of different designers to add to the collection because I'm getting busy. You know what I mean? And so you have to kind of figure, do you want to spend 5-6 hours designing clothes, or are you going to help, have someone else help you out and do that? So the CryptoX swag is cross-chain. It's everything, but you know where my home is. You know what we love. It's Pulse Chain, it's Hex, it's Pulse X. It's all that kind of good stuff. But a lot of that is because of our incentive plan with the affiliate program, where there's people like my friend Joe Perry's or what have you. They're cross-chain. It's also kind of our onboarding opportunity. Like on Wednesday, I got about 4 to 5 women from Base and Solana coming on, and they're all very interested in the narrative that we have for Queen Pui, because they, the Queens of Crypto, but they're very interested in what Richard's doing in Pulse Chain. And so it kind of falls on us as a community, not only to teach them about the core tokens, but also how to get here, how to get across the bridge, those are things. And I'm excited to collaborate with SJ and Whitney Magic, because it's the women that get to teach these women about the deeper waters of DeFi. You know what I mean? And that's not to take away from anyone from on another chain, but hands down, I would say the women of Hexaco, they understand DeFi on a level that's so in depth. You know what I mean? We've had so many years of experience of everyone teaching us. You know what I mean? So I'm excited about Wednesday's show, where all these women get to come on. 2 of them are actually, devs, so they actually are down the path of knowing quite a bit. You know what I mean? So just collaborating with people. Our home's here in Pulse Chain, but we're opening the doors to everyone and just trying to create bridges and opportunities for people to come into Pulse Chain.
Yeah,
very nice. That's great, awesome, man.
Yeah. Enjoy your dinner and your thumbnails. Good luck with those.
Yeah. Gotta have fun.
Thank you for letting me know that people were in the green room by texting me directly, because you're like, he's lost, dude. He's not coming back down out of the forest.
Well, that's the beauty of actually getting to know people in real life.
Yes.
That's the opportunity to, I know it's not for everyone, and that's the beauty of crypto, is where you could be as private as you want, you guys, and that's the beauty of it. Privacy is something you got to fight for. Richard believes in that. We believe in that. But if you get the chance to meet people in real life, well, there's a good chance you might get their phone number and you might go into a deeper relationship with them. And that's helpful, because I know sometimes crypto can be lonely, but it sure is, funner when you have people you trust.
Yeah. Shout out to PulseChainTours.com, Vegas, March 6th through the 9th.
Yep. It's going to be a good one. It'll be fun. Just meet more people. For people that can't go, tune in. For people that don't want to go because of privacy, that's your right. And continue to make relationships online, and just, that's a good thing too. That relationships are very important. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. You guys have a great night. And I'll be tuning in just on my phone while I'm cooking up dinner.
All right. Enjoy.
All right, buddy.
John.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Casey says RH is clearly guiding people over to V2 liquidity on PulseX. Rewards are fairly decent on the top pools. So yeah, I
Sure.
did some hurting.
Sure.
Mr. Rockchucky says, "Ooh, what about coins like Incognito for earning ink?" You said I like Incognito, and we actually had Incognito on the stream, and I was so disappointed that Incognito wasn't a privacy token. That like
Yeah. Would have been a good name for one, right?
Well,
Yeah.
see, they got the Guy Fawkes mask, and I'm like, oh, this is definitely like a coin mixer or something. And they're like, no, it's alien tech, it's this and that. And I was like, oh, and it just kind of threw me. So I feel bad that, but he did he literally just machine gun for like 40 minutes about Incognito. So he definitely got a lot of his points and information across. Heck, Monkey has fire in the chat. Monkey facing reality says, believe. Yes, believe. That's what this is about. Believe in something. Happy little trees, he says about the paintings. My evil address won't scrape, or if I do, it just keeps saying I have 50. Okay, so it's not your evil address, Rich. It's the evil address's evil address. So when you scrape, it's not going to show up in your wallet. It's going to show up in the next jackpot. Shell Fox says, true. You can't know, though maybe you would have put that money in Sol, for example, and made a lot more than keeping it in BTC. I think he's referring to you talking about selling the 20,000 hex. Bang Bang Pulse Gang. What's up, Frank White? Good to see you. Hex T Armstrong. So when can I buy a cup of drip coffee on chain? That's a good question. I don't know if it's anytime soon that on-chain transactions are going to be that fast. But you do have things like Venmo and Cash App and Crypto.com that are basically like merchant versions that are connected to crypto, but they're not really on chain. Doug's given us the peace sign. Hexiamster says, as a person on this 52 trip around the sun, as a person on his 52 trip around the sun, I believe crypto will not arrive until on-chain commerce is normative, and I can take profit without taking assets off-chain. That's actually a lot to think about in a couple sentences. I mean, I get the on-chain commerce being normative. I can see that definitely happening with better code and better technology. But take profit without taking assets off chain, that's been something a few people have been trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Use basically using crypto as collateral to pull, do other things. King and Queen Pooey, there's the link for their for King and Queen Pooey on Twitter. Here's their crypto X swag is where you can get some swag. Shell Fox says, take care. You too. Take care. Is there anything else we can cover that you are noticing or thinking about that people might want to know before you go back on Maddie's channel on Tuesday? Or
no, I unlike you, I was not prepared, so I'm just keeping my options open, just thinking about what could happen and kind of roll with the punches, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I was we came back from Randy Hilarski's conference down in Panama, and when I landed, my buddy's sending me like all these texts about Most Token, and I looked it up and I kind of scanned through Telegram real quick, and it was like, oh, Richard Hart's been hacked, because this is obviously like a casino, and obviously like Richard Hart's told us not to gamble, not to trade. Traders lose not just your money, but you lose your time. Trust me, I've tried the trading game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to bed that night thinking that RH, one of his addresses or Twitters or something that linked back to him had been hacked. The next day I found out that it hadn't been hacked, and that he did open a casino. And for a day I was kind of like in shock, like, what? Wait, what? Like, because I mean, we haven't heard him scream in a while, so it's hard to like get hints from him, so to speak. And the next day, all the air was sucked out of the core tokens and into pumped up tires. And like, I just felt like betrayed. I felt like there's no heads up. You know what I mean? Like he didn't like give his loyal followers a chance to ride this insane wave, or, you know, to prepare for the price of the cores going down. And so I was like, I felt, you know, left out. I felt betrayed. I was really upset for a couple of days, just because I was just trying to accept what was going on and wrap my head around it and figure out what to do as a founder, what to do as an investor. You know, like obviously don't chase green candles. It had already gone crazy by then. So I was like, I'm not buying most. But I did start to look at pump dot tires, and I did start to, my buddy, he knows who he is. He went click, 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 and he made the dragon token. And I was just like, I was furious. I was like, man, I worked so hard on my PRC20 and the ecosystem for years. And this guy goes click, 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 add a JPEG, and he's a founder. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. This doesn't make any sense. But, you know, like I said, we shortly after that, Pink Mist Well added all that liquidity, which was just totally insane. And I was like, I think I found a use for pump dot tires. So right before stream, we got the domain, we got the name and the picture. We created this cool picture of a sniper riding a pink whale, and then pictures of snipers like in the Hollywood Hills, like taking out people. And I said, we're going to make this token. We're going to see if we can get it to graduate. We did on stream. And I said, I want everyone to send Pink Mist token to the Pink Mist Well's address. And for every 1,000,000 tokens you send to the Pink Mist Well, I'm going to send a J1 fuel cell, or basically a Michael Jordan rookie card.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing that, and I've been trying to keep up with that. But now people are asking, so if I send 1,000,000 Pink Mist tokens to Pink Mist Well, like, what do I get? So I see where they're coming from, and I'll have to think of a way for when people send, 20 million Pink Mist Whale tokens, which I think are like 20 cents or something like that. At first they were asking for dark. They're like, hey, so if I send 1,000,000 Pink Mist tokens, which I think are like $4, do I get a dark? And I was like, that's a damn good deal for you, but not such a great deal for dark. But I'll think of something. It might be, they might receive a J1 NFT as well, because that money's locked for 2 years ish, depending on the price and market and all that jazz. But yeah, that's the whole roller coaster I went through. As far as, I'm 90%. Well, no, I was 100% staked for years. Like I did the round trip from 10 cents to 10 cents right back down. So yeah, to me, it's like, as long as the price is high when I unstake, I kind of don't care how much APY I get. Does that make sense? Like, because Hex is a penny now. Maximus DAO, which should be trading at a really big premium, is basically the same price as Hex, which doesn't make any sense. There's just so many cool plays to be made. And the HTT and the Magic Carpet Ride pools, like, there's so many ways to catch up on T-shares right now. And trust me when I say you don't have enough dark, you don't have enough fuel cells, and you do not have enough T-shares.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. And you don't have enough, what was it, Carpe Diem shares. You don't have enough Carpe Diem shares. I don't know if you've looked into Carpe Diem, but I love what he put together over there. And that's the guy in chat, Sealy.
Yeah. I looked at his stuff.
He's a smart dude. He saw some of the stuff that we haven't told anybody about. Some of our surprises. He's just like, hey, does this do what this does? What I think it does? And we're like, shh, quiet.
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody. We got some surprises. We got some tricks up our sleeves. Like you ain't seen nothing yet in Anti-Gravity and Dark Matter. Like, okay, yeah, you've seen the evil address gets hacked, and that's pretty fucking cool. But yeah, there's more stuff I've been hinting about. That was the best part about watching Richard Hart streams back in the day. 5 hours, 8 hours, 3 hour streams, where you just sat there and you listened for any little nugget, any little hint, and you got if you were listening to Richard Hart back in the days when Hex was coming of age, you did very, very well.
You gotta look for the head twist, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he would put that forehead up and cock his neck and be like,
yeah, every time he does this on stream,
yeah,
he's deciding how much to tell you.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Fun ride.
Obviously, you guys follow Crispy Man at Hexfire.io. Go check out his charts at hexfire.io. Watch him on all sorts of streams, like Matty Allen's Game Theory Gang. Is that what it's called on Tuesdays?
Yeah, Game Theory Gang. Yeah.
And Crispy Man is in a lot of groups. Some of them free, some of them paid. And so if you're looking for some groups like the Mastermind group that Frank Polancic runs, No Permissions, Sloth Treehouse, there's a lot of really, really good groups where people like Crispy Man and other founders are hanging out and just sharing. Thank you very much. But they're sharing their alpha. Like, I spill way more alpha in those groups than I do on stream. I'm basically like, look, this is what I think is coming, or look, this is what we're trying to pull off. You know what I mean? Like, 100%. No expectation from the work of others, but it the first mover advantage is real, very real in crypto, and you don't have to be a first mover. You can be the friend of a first mover. So, yeah. And thank you to everyone in our community for the art, for the music, for the videos, for the collab. This is the part that I never saw coming, was the collaboration. You have Zephyr Trips making a video of a song that was written in AI by Cape Figure with graphics and pictures from Smo Spider and Red Squirrel. And I mean, the collaboration is insane in our Telegram. It blows my mind how everyone's building off each other's creativity, and there's just this beautiful effect and beautiful products. When Richard Hart says the thing he's most proud about is his community, I get it. I totally get it. And I'm proud to call, Crispy Man here a friend and John a friend, because that's something that you don't get in other online communities that I found.
100%, dude. 100%. I agree. Community is it.
Is there anywhere else people could follow you, or anything else that you think they should look into?
Nah, that should be. I think that's plenty. You get plenty of information already.
Yeah. PulseX is our casino share. Many sold their share in the casino to play in the casino. This is a battle of conviction and knowing what you hold. Yes, I agree. Holding the tokens is being the house. Trading the tokens is being the gambler that walks in and 99% of them leave bankrupt. We will win harder than anyone, I believe. I believe too. You should be a proud Papa, Max. I am a proud Papa. Very proud of this community and of my actual kids that I have. But thank you very much. Other than that, like I said, shout out to Randy Larsky. No Permissions. I'm already planning on going to their next conference in 2026. It was absolutely wonderful. We got to hang out with the Actuator guys, with the Gelato guys. I was hoping that Firewell would show up and I could shine his shoes and tell him a story about dark matter to get him more into it. But he didn't. He was on vacation. Like, I guess billionaires go on vacation a lot. I don't know. I don't know what it's like. But yeah, he was on vacation. He didn't show. But the people that did show, I mean, Triplet Dad, dude, you want to sit down with someone who peeks behind the curtain of the Wizard of Oz? you sit down with Triplet Dad. You watch what he's cooking over on Bistro and all that stuff. Like, you watch what he's cooking. I wish that Sloth had been able to make it, but he wasn't able to make it. Let's see here. Chris Corrigal from Gelato was there, and he gave a very moving and compassionate speech about Alzheimer's. And that's
really?
It was totally mind blowing. There was a group in there that was educating us on stem cells and what the good, the bad, and the ugly of stem cells. Like, there were people that are talking about second citizenships and passports and how to set up a bank account here, how to do this, how to do that. It was such a potpourri of coolness that I didn't even expect, and so much alpha. Like Ray Brightlight, he's cooking up stuff. Everyone is cooking up something. Everyone there had like a secret project that they were cooking on, and it blew me away. Just the alpha and just the cool people there. Absolutely loved it. So shout out to Randy as always, and shout out to Crispy, man, for just being the cool guy that he is, and just approachable and available.
And Matt.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's go out. Let's leave on the two videos that I started with, the one from Red Squirrel, and then we're going to leave on Rip City Vids. I don't even remember the name of this song. I played it so much because we had something about Cape's Gonna Kill Me. But the first one was a rock ballad, like an anthem. And that one is called like something of dust, ashes of dust, or something great like that. It's posted in our Telegram. You can listen to that one too. And then of course that creepy Evil Address song is just bananas. And then he has Leroy the Space Monkey rap, and of course the rap I'm going to play last here. So with that, I'm gonna bounce on these two videos. Thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing this crazy journey that we call life, and even crazier journey that we call crypto. And we'll be seeing you. Thank you very, very much. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Nova is here, he's the leader of Alpha, leading the charge. Yeah. With his main man Heavy, hit up right by, hit his side at the raid. Together they fight, the dogs that corner, rich and valor, fighting for good. They refuse to back down in this war for justice. They wear the crown, Nova and Heavy hitter, they rise from the dust. For their cause, they never back down. With Big Boy Leroy, his feet firmly underground in the the face of danger, they fight through it all. Champions of hope, they rise to the top. Through shadows of doubt, they light up the way. With power and purpose, they seize every day. Their enemy tremble in the dark. Nova and Heavy Hitter, our heroes embark in the Antigravity that's covered by night. They bring the fire and ammunition to ignite. For its alpha they serve, their honor was true. Nova and Heavy Hitter, they rise from the dust.